Hey folks, Ryan here from Mr. Gaming, and we've got a special video here for you today because it is preview season in Plaid Hat Games world, and they dropped a really tasty nugget here for us today where they are starting to preview some of the new cards in the new Ashes Reborn Red Rains system. Yes, they have the 4th Red Rains expansion coming out, and that is called the Siege of Lordswall. Now, I am just going to hop on over to the screen over here just so that we can see that back in February, they did announce that the next expansion is going to be the Siege of Lordswall, and they are going to be looking like they're going to be focusing in on the divine dice, as you can maybe see in the back. Well, I can kind of know because right here in the box here we've got Odette, we've got Daimona, we've got Xander, and I believe they have also said, oh yes, right down here it says that James Endersight is going to be part of this particular set, and they all use the divine magic, which is this is the first time that one of the deluxe expansions dice is going to be used in the Red Rains cycle here for us. So that is very, very exciting for us. So yes, this was announced back in February, and I'm just going to give a little bit, I'm going to try to zoom in here on these kind of cards that are right here, because you can kind of see that there are, there are some things going on in the background. Like we know that it's going to be divine, as we can see kind of like the angel wings on there. Hand of Spear, a new ally coming in on this. And I don't know, they really kind of got it here, but it says when it's something unit comes, usually about when it comes into play. But then you can almost see something of shield, which means if there's a hand of Spear, there might be a hand of shield as well. On the battlefield, and it looks like something when this is attacking and something in battle with it, maybe there's gonna be some sort of combo between Hand of Spear and Hand of Shield. That would be actually really, really quite interesting. But what I really kind of want to focus in here on the Siege of Lordswall are these Rainwalker conjured aspects that they're going to be coming into play, because there's some sort of attack here where they're saying after this unit is declared as, I'm going to assume as an attacker, other units with this ability on this something are also declared as attackers if able, which is meaning this is something that I have seen that has been lacking in the Red Rains department, especially with the Chimera, is usually the Chimera is not attacking with multiple units at the same time, which is a pretty big component in Ashes Reborn when you're playing player versus player, where you're able to attack the other person's Phoenixborn with multiple units at the same time. And therefore there's really this really neat song and dance of who am I going to block with, who am I not going to block with, am I going to counter, am I not going to counter type thing. And we haven't seen that with the Chimera, and this looks like we're going to be the first time we're going to be seeing this particular thing in play, which I am very excited to see that in its form here. Yes, this new Chimeric army fights the Phoenixborn in 2 different aspects, Horde and Death. Stand stalwart against the Horde as they deploy wave after wave of Rainwalkers who can attack in a group to bypass your defenses or seek the sources of this corruption against the Death aspect, who methodically spawn and sacrifice their Rainwalkers for even greater power. Now those sound really interesting, especially if you want to start combining those different aspects with the other Chimera that we have already seen, the Frostwile Scourge, Blight of Neverset, and of course Corpse of Vyros. Imagine like just playing like Corpse of Vyros Horde or Frostwile Scourge Horde or Death type thing. Really excited to kind of see more of those cards coming into play. Now that's the stuff that was announced way back in February here. Now we've got the announcement that was made today here, which says Lordswall, Siege of Lordswall preview number 1. And I'm just kind of just do a little bit of a zoom in here. It says we didn't do anything wrong. The mine had been sealed up as we always do when one peters out, but then the rains started. Water must have built up in the old tunnels, cause one day the whole thing washed out. When we investigated, we found a strange cluster of crystal growing inside, where afore there was not. Clea touched the damn thing, and that's when everything went to hell. Oh, yes. So now we are going to see, now we got brand new cards that are going to be coming into play here. For example, the very first one here is Glory Aspirant, which I do have a preview of that card, kind of like a little bit more zoomed in on the side here, where it has the, look at, it's going to be a main action and a basic, so pretty cheap cost here. It's an attack 1, life 1, recover 1, which will come into play, I believe, in some of the other cards we're going to see here. But it says Lionize. When this unit comes into play, search your draw pile. You may reveal a card with the divine power symbol, that lion's head, in its play cost, and place it into your hand. So you get to search your draw pile. That's a great one. So this is obviously maybe a good, decent first 5 card where you're going to be able to play it for relatively cheap here. It gets you a unit onto the board relatively quickly, and you're also going to be able to search out for a card with that divine cost on it, so you don't, it's kind of like first 5ing another card in my perspective here. And then you get to shuffle your draw pile, then change 1 divine die in your active pool to a side of your choice. So not only are you going to go out and search out for that that lion's head, a card with that lion's head power symbol on its play cost, but then you're also then going to get to change 1 of your die to that symbol as well. So now that you're going to be able to play it later on. That is a very, you know what, for that cost of just a basic and your main action, that is extremely versatile and powerful for us, especially if you are going to be playing divine magic and you're going to have like those higher cost cards. That is an extremely nice looking card to get us going here. And like I said, for me and my personal preference here, this is essentially first 5ing you another card in your deck. So, man, I like it. The young ally dreams to be just as powerful as Odette herself. Search through your draw pile for inspiring heroes and powerful spells. Nice. Now, the next one we're going to see here is going to be the Silver Paladin. Oh, this guy is a beast. He's got that lion's head divine power symbol. He's also got a class and 2. He's a beefy guy, very expensive to bring out, but I can see exactly why they decided to do so here, because he's got that, he's got that ability called Smite. When this unit comes into play, you may destroy a target unit of an opponent controls with an attack value of 1 or less. So not only is he coming into the board, he's always going to be able to destroy something as long as it has that attack value 1 or less, which we've seen lots of Chimera aspects come into play with one or lesses across the different boards. Blight of Neverset's got a bunch of them in there that has 1 or less attack values, so very handy. We'll have to see what the Lords the Siege Wall. Oh my gosh, what am I talking about here? Lordswall, Siege of Lordswall. I'm going to get that backwards every single time here. But he's also got the ability Exalt here. After this unit destroys a unit an opponent controls during your turn, so he's going to come into play and he's going to destroy. So he's going to you're bringing him into play on your turn, most likely 99% of the time. He's going to destroy something, and after he's going to be able to trigger this ability, Exalt, controls it during your turn. You may choose a divine die in your exhausted pool, so it's something that's already been spent. It's already been exhausted. It's been used up here, and resolve its dice power without paying its cost. So you're going to have to be able to bring it out and put it. And if you're not familiar with what the divine power does, is that you get to put it on your own units and increase their attack strength by 1, which is extremely cool. So not only you'll be able to even, you'll even be able to buff him up, or maybe you want to even buff up one of these Glory aspirants, bring him into attack 2. Now you're all of a sudden being able to attack more different aspects in play that have, maybe a little bit higher lives. He's also got that stat line: attack 3, life 5, recover 2. Really, really good defense type of card as well, with the high life and the high recovery as well. But that's also going to be combining these two together. You can also maybe have Radiant Light here, which is going to be, another one of these cards that, Glory Aspirant can search out, because it does have that divine power in it. It's a side action cost, ready spell, so it's going to go onto your spell board. When the spell comes into play, you may choose a divine die in your exhausted pool, resolve its dice power without paying its cost. You're going to put one of those die onto one of your units, increasing its attack strength. But also, while this spell is out here, while a divine dice is on a unit you control, its life value and recover value are also increased by 1. So not only are you going to be increasing the attack strength of your unit, you're also increasing the life of that unit and its recovery, which is pretty important, especially if you want to keep one of these Glory Aspirants around. If you want to keep this Silver Paladin even around, now he's all of them come with a divine die on him. And you got this ready spell out here. He's now become a 4/6/3 stat line. And that's just bonkers. Absolutely bonkers, especially with that recover 3. He could take a pretty decent chunk hit and be able to stick around for the next time around and still maintain a lot of attack power. Very, really cool. Does come with the ability Flicker, though. Shuffle this card into your draw pile at the end of the round. So it's not going to stick around forever. It's not sticking around forever, but it is going to go back into your not going to go into your discard pile, but back into your draw pile. Possibly to be sought out again. Maybe you got running multiple copies of Glory Aspirant. You can bring it back again. That's really, really, really neat. Really, really neat. You may, if you want to, you may only want to run in future copies. Run one copy of this. Running multiple copies of this, that's actually really interesting. Is if you stack this in a particular round, you'll have these abilities essentially twice. So when you have a die on a unit, it will not only it'll increase its life value and recovery by 2 then. Like, that's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers with just the one die on it. Divine getting some really neat support. I'm really excited to kind of see what they're going to be bringing out with the rest of their reveals. I'm getting really excited for it. I think Siege of Lordswall may end up being could potentially be one of my favorite sets for Red Reigns. And yeah, I really enjoyed the reveals of these new cards today. Tell me, what did you think of today's reveals? What are you hoping to get out of the Siege of Lordswall in this expansion? Put them in the comments below. I'm really excited. I'm really juiced up about this expansion set, and yeah. And I've still got so much more to explore with Ashes Reborn. Check out that I'm going to be having some playthrough videos next week. I'm going to be doing a campaign with Mayoni Viper against the Blight of Neverset. So you want to make sure you're sticking around for all of those. And of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure you're putting likes on my video, subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. And the notification bell is there in case you want to get notified for little videos like this one that seem to pop up every now and then. All right, folks, the Siege of Lordswall is coming, and I cannot wait for it. And I hope you can't wait for it as well. All right, folks, thanks for watching this little bit of video, and I'll see you next time they announce some more cards. Cheers, everybody.